order to access the science audience personas, you don't need to describe enter any topics into the search bar. Instead, you go to the See Science Journalism Features 4 boxes here, the 4 yellow boxes, and click on them, and immediately you're taken to the Science Audiences option. And you'll notice if you scroll down here, there are at the moment 8 different science audience personas based on existing research around clusters of different types of people and how they respond to science communication. And for each of these personas, you have a short description, and then you also have a number of relevant topics that you might want to explore that persona with. And each of those topics is related to how you might adapt your communication to communicating more effectively with them. So we focus here on Michelle, who is a 45-year-old businesswoman who left school at 16 and normally votes for centre-right parties. She perceives science as medical science, but not other kinds of science, distrusts many professions, and prefers to talk with friends and clients about using science. You can follow up and read more about this persona, but then you're able to explore each of these interactive features. So, for example, the persona suggests that the reading level here might be useful. So the prompt here says, think about Michelle's reading levels and write accordingly. If I then click more, that will open a different search tab, and it will give us more insights on newspaper readability. So it's giving you some insights and links to useful information about readability in newspapers that you can sort of follow up and think more creatively about. Likewise, I might be interested, for example, in health angles. We know that Michelle is interested in health angles. So the prompt here says, look to develop stories with health angles of interest to Michelle and publish them under health. So if I click on the More button, again, JECT.AI will open up a different tab with tailored Google searches. It will, for example, here give you links to the top 10 most common health issues, most popular health and wellness topics, and you can use these directed Google searches that JECT.AI has generated to think more about relevant health angles by which you might communicate your story. Again, if I pick on another relevant topic here, television, seek coverage of stories on mass market television networks watched by Michelle. So if I click on that, and it's giving me sort of interesting angles around popular current soap operas that I might try and embed my communication in and around, suggesting that might be a way of picking a channel by which to communicate, perhaps not an obvious one, but an insightful one nonetheless. And you're able to interact with the other personas in similar ways. If we look here at a different kind of persona, Francesca is a teenager living with her parents in an affluent town, good at science, but she's also interested in spirituality. This persona suggests that YouTube is an important means for her to communicate, so publish and or link to stories on YouTube watched by Francesca, and it will suggest what are the YouTube channels that high schoolers are watching. Some interesting sort of links there, other kinds of channels that you might want to explore as a means of reaching out to her. Interestingly, there's this notion of inclusion, be inclusive and allow Francesca's different perspectives and interpretations of stories without diluting the science and its impact. If I click more again, I'm taken to interesting sort of TED Talks about science and spirituality that could be a basis for enabling more effective communication with a teenager such as Francesca. So again, feel free to explore these different science audience personas that JECT.AI makes available.